Hey guys, as always, I'm the Gentleman Snark here, and I'm with.
Havoc, how are you all?
So, yeah, today we're gonna bring you episode review of ReZero Season 2, Episode 2. But before we get into that, I just want to remind you guys, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you like what we're doing here and if you want to see more. Now, without further ado, let's talk about this episode. So, this episode pretty much just picks up where we left off, where the alliance still seems to be intact between Krush and Amelia, but now Subaru and Amelia are now going back to the mansion, returning home from like a long day's work, and they're planning to regroup with Roswell, Ram, and the rest of them to figure out what the heck are they going to do next. The only issue is, when they go back, it's time that we play this lovely game called Where's Roswell? Because evidently, Roswell is nowhere to be seen. And as a matter of fact, even Puck has gone missing as well. So already, two powerful characters have really turned up absent. Nobody knows where they are. That's kind of a big deal. We also get treated to a new character, Frederica, which evidently Frederica seems to be half beast, half human, I guess. Also working as a maid, which makes sense because Ram has no memory that she even has a twin sister, so she called on this old employer to help her take care of the mansion or whatnot. The only issue is, Ram is still nowhere.
God damn, what is with this dude and hiring people that aren't people?
I have no idea. He had twin demons. Now he has, I don't even know, half beast woman there. Not bad though. Not bad looking. So we get some exposition there. Apparently there was a letter of instructions from Roswell for Frederica to find, but again, nobody knows where Roswell is. So the only person that seems to really know what Roswell might be thinking is up to is either Ram, who's also MIA, or our favorite blonde lolly, Beatrice. Typical Subaru fashion, he goes there and he pretty much meets Beatrice to get some information as to what Roswell could possibly doing. And the interaction we get there is a little interesting, and I kind of want to spend some time on that. We notice that Beatrice has the same cold, tsundere-esque attitude towards Subaru, but it immediately changes when all of a sudden he brings up the witch's cult. Why is that? Now, to the point where she's actually looking like she's about to cry. Immediately when Subaru shows the gospel, all of a sudden she's a lot more talkative. She seems a lot more somber, more melancholic. She immediately blows Subaru away. I have no idea what's really going on here. The best thing that I know to my knowledge is that...
Okay, I have to cut you off there because I remember recalling something from my experience watching the series. Remember, Mr. Subaru is there for a reason, and the gospel keeps finding its way into his hands. It's found its way into his hands repeatedly, and there is a seventh sin missing. It is a fan theory that he might be the sin of pride, which is totally ludicrous, but just remember that this gospel that he got from Mr. Pettigrews is finding its way back to him. So it is very possible that he has some sort of involvement in some greater purpose in this series that we're not fully aware of yet. I just want to throw that out there.
I mean, that is a potential thing here, which I'm not gonna lie, I really am looking forward to see how that turns out. But what I really want to know is what's Beatrice's role in all of this, because the only knowledge I have is in one of the What If novels, where Subaru takes the wrong path. A similar interaction happens where Subaru kind of meets up with Beatrice, shows her the gospel or something doing with the witch's cult, and her first words that she has to say is, "Mom." And if we go into this episode, when she asked what happened to the owner of this gospel, Subaru just responds with, "I killed him." And she immediately gets all melancholic saying, "Oh, so now you've left me too." So what I'm understanding is Beatrice has obviously some kind of connection to the witch's cult, but what? I am not sure yet. Now, it's an interesting thing that you mentioned that there's a sin missing. I'm just gonna throw this out there, and I could be wrong here, but based on Beatrice's nature, could she have been the former sin of pride? Could that Is that a possibility here?
You're semi-decent. That's better. That's a better assumption. But she's holding out on something. She's damn well holding out on something. But can you explain to me how Subaru always knows where she is? Let's throw that into the mix there, because that kind of, there's a little bit of mystery behind that little ability of his. That's not some trope that they're throwing in there, for the sake of throwing it in there. He has that ability.
To be honest, I never quite figured out how he was able to do that. I used to assume that whichever door has flowers next to it or whatnot, but that's not the case, because the door he went through in this episode didn't have any flowers near it, and that door was a regular room. It didn't show Beatrice in it at all, which, to be fair, I don't think Subaru lost his touch. I just think Beatrice is going deep into hiding, maybe mourning because of Betelgeuse's death. I don't know. I think I'm really sticking with the whole theory that she used to be the Sin of Pride, or at the very least, she used to be a part of the witch's cult, but then she pretty much defected and went on her own way. For whatever reason, I don't know. Maybe it has to do with somebody she saw die. Maybe she realized that the witch's cult is really just a bunch of fanatics, which, let's be real, that's usually what a cult is. Now, the interesting thing I want to talk about in this whole dynamic is the moment Subaru mentioned that he killed him, she's immediately just like, okay, so what happened to all the witchcrafters? What happened to all the followers? What became of them? And Subaru's just like, what? So I think this gives way to the theory that Subaru might become the next Sin of Pride because, alright, all of Betelgeuse's followers, all those witchcrafters, it kind of seems like they're just going to be lost sheep now, and they might gravitate to whoever is next, or maybe whoever's holding that gospel. I'm not really sure. It's mainly guesswork that we hear now. We've just got to drop a taste of what potentially is to come, and right now I'm just trying to speculate all over the place what this could possibly mean here. I'm just as lost as a casual viewer right now.
Who wouldn't be? I was having a bit of difficulty keeping up with this episode because it seems like they're taking the series into a far more complicated direction, which you will figure out shortly as we continue the discussion.
And on that note, we see that Petra, one of the girls, is officially becoming a new maid to work in the Roswell mansion, which was nice. It was cute and all that kind of stuff, but I just want to fast forward to two things here. So one interesting thing here is Frederica pretty much tells them where to go in the sanctuary, because after which Beatrice kind of informs Subaru how to kind of get inside Roswell's head, and the best thing for us, the viewers, and Subaru to get answers in terms of the witchcrafters, potentially Beatrice's role in this, and what Roswell is probably up to, is to go to the sanctuary. So Frederica is telling Otto and everybody how to get there, gives them instructions, gives Amelia a necklace of sorts to kind of help her pass through the sanctuary, and they keep mentioning the name Beware of Garfield. Interesting thing there, I wasn't sure who Garfield is, maybe it's a gatekeeper, because the interesting thing we should note about this episode is that there was no opening. We just went straight into the episode. The opening didn't come till the end, and for those who have watched anime, specifically ReZero as well, knows that when they don't start off with an opening, it's going down. Something is gonna go down this episode.
It's usually the telltale sign that this is the episode that you need to pay attention.
Facts. So we see them pretty much leave the mansion, and as they leave, we see Frederica take out a letter, which obviously was from Roswell. We can make that assumption. And she's saying that she followed the instructions of the master very carefully. So my first question is, what is Roswell really up to here? It seems like he just sent them off on a quest, and I'm wondering, is this quest really to go retrieve Roswell and Ram, or to save them, or maybe something else? It's really boggling the mind here what the end game here, because honestly, the master manipulator here of all of this seems to be Roswell. I'm just gonna go right off jump that Roswell seems to that he's putting all the pieces here.
I told you.
Yeah, you definitely told us. So, but before we get to that thing, there is one issue that I simply must address and I cannot ignore. So, In the carriage, they happen to be going through the forest towards where the sanctuary is. We have a brief dialogue between Subaru and Amelia. You know, she's a little nervous because that's the forest where other half-elves are supposed to live, and she's never seen a half-elf before. All of a sudden, her necklace, the one given to her by Frederica, that was specifically stated to give them safe passage into the sanctuary, starts glowing ridiculously. And what does our boy Subaru do? He feels the need to take the necklace and try to throw it out of the carriage. All right, so I want to spend some time on this. What the what the heck? Bruh, here's the issue that I have. He was there. He was there when they specifically told Amelia that this gem is very important into getting into the sanctuary. He was there. He heard it. And his first instinct when he sees the gem lighting up is to take that and try and chuck it.
Wow.
I'm sorry, what? Now, here's the thing. If this was back in season 1, I'd give him the benefit of the doubt because he's new to the world. He doesn't understand what the heck's going on here. But this is season 2. He's been through technically 2 wars and assaults. He's seen a bunch of shining gemstones before. I don't know why specifically when he sees this around Amelia's neck, his first instinct is to kind of chuck it. Now, don't get me wrong. If he decided to just take it off of her to kind of inspect what the heck's going on, I'd give him a pass. I'd be like, all right, he's just expecting it. That's something I could believe a normal person that's been through what he's been through would do. But your first instinct after they specifically told you the importance of this key item is to take it off and try to throw it out the carriage?
Right.
Bruh, what the heck? I'm not a fan of that writing. I'm not a fan of that. It's clear to me that they clearly wanted Subaru to grab onto the gem for, reasons. So for the next instance that we're going to talk about, what happened to him. But they could have done it in so many better ways than because honestly, it feels like a slight regression in his character where he's back to doing dumb. And I'm not a fan. I'm just not a fan. I'm really not a fan.
Nope.
No. There are better ways you could have written that.
That's the gimmick of the show. His stupidity moves things along. Literally, his development is the pacing of the story. And guess what happens? The story gets set back a little bit, doesn't it?
You're goddamn right.
There is one thing I definitely got to talk about towards the end of this episode here. And that is, after Subaru takes the gem, he gets teleported, I'm not sure, out of the carriage into the forest. I'm not sure where exactly he's teleported or if he's just hallucinating. But the first thing he sees is what we assume is another half-elf person. They run off. He finds some sort of Aztec monument type of thing. He goes inside, bada bing, bada boom, he meets the Witch of Greed. And the episode ends. Now, I have no idea what to expect here, but based on the trailers that we've seen before, where every time Subaru's walking in a field of corpses and he meets the Witch of Greed, all angry looking, she's an enemy, right off the bat. She is an enemy. She's not a friend, she's a foe. What this enemy can do, what she's gonna be bringing to the table, what exactly is her powers or whatnot, I couldn't tell you, because at this point it seems like Subaru got transported from one world into another. That's what it's seeming like to me right now. And what happened to Amelia when she fainted? Who knows? You got me on that.
Well, maybe based on what happened, she passed out with the shining necklace around her. Maybe there are multiple witches competing for her vessel. But Roswaal is running a master plan here for sure. And it seems as if he's either been cut off or this is all part of the master plan. He's set an alliance with the Witch of Greed as opposed to the Witch of Envy. Who knows? The story seems to have gotten very complicated here and they threw us a real curveball. No, that, a screwball.
I mean, pretty much. I like this episode. I actually really do like this episode because it gives us a lot of questions, but no answers. And it gives us the hook to want to watch more because the biggest question here now is Roswaal. Because if we look at this episode, The common denominator here is Roswell. What is he up to? Where did he go? Is he really at the sanctuary? Who's Garfield? Like, Roswell is the center of this entire dynamic right now. And I have no idea. Like, his entire action has been dubious from the start.
Dubious is a good word. Well, Roswell clearly is a very capable individual. He has the power to reshape a continent. He has acquired these two extraordinarily powerful demon sisters as his maids, as well as this third maid who we know nothing about. He has an enormous mansion. He is sponsoring one of the 5 potential successors to the throne. The man's got juice. Let's put it that way.
Damn, son.
You know what I mean? He's got juice. And we definitely want to see what he has in the future for sure. But right now, I definitely have to say he's working a master plan. And my theory is that he sees something in the Witch of Greed. I think that he has an alliance with the Witch of Greed to some degree. Or he might be playing her. He might see that she has a need for the vessel that is Amelia, and he might be playing her for his means, or he might be working with her directly to accomplish the means for their mutual benefit. Who knows? But my opinion here is that he has some sort of agenda involving the Witch of Greed. I don't think the Witch of Greed is another party, because he already is the third party. There's no need to throw in more parties to further complicate things in a story like this. He has an angle with her. Whoa! He might be her. My boy Roswell, he set the wheels in motion now. His plan is starting. And Subaru might very well be a part of it. We'll see from here on out what happens with Roswell, but, you know, as my favorite character, I really want to see what he has cooking, and the Witch of Greed seems to be involved with him.
And let's not forget that Puck, one of the most powerful ones, is also MIA here. So again, I really can't wait for the next episode here. I gotta say, this episode, if the first episode hit the ground running and set the stage, this one, it kept setting the stage, but it kept putting on layers of interest and intrigue. So I'm really hoping the payoff here is something, it's gonna be great. It's gonna knock our socks off here. So I believe that's going to be it for us here. If you like what you see here, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We greatly appreciate it. And if you want to catch us live, we got a Twitch. Twitch.tv/nerdent. We play Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links and some other games there. We have live discussions, usually talking about anime or just some other random stuff there. If you really like what you see and you want to come see us live, please be sure to give us a follow. We'd greatly appreciate it. So as always, I am the Gentleman Snark.
And I am Havoc.
Alright, we'll catch you guys in the next video. See ya!